We're off.
And we're back, America. Segment 3, the Big BD is on. Okay, welcome back to IDD for the Big BD. What was
Not the Big BD, the Big BD.
The Big BD. Anyway.
Oh.
Welcome back to IDD. For those of you in the know, I don't disagree. For those of you with a New Year's resolution to find the greatest sports talk show in the Northern Hemisphere, well, you have won it.
Fastest growing show.
Fastest growing. 113 subscribers as of this morning. So anyway, if you like us, by the way, click the like button at the bottom there.
Subscribe, maybe?
That subscribe. Doesn't cost you nothing. Free. Now, what in America that's great is free? Other than me and Tom, nothing. We're easy. We're cheap. Anyway, the bottom line is this. That is the redoubtable all himself, Tom. So this is the highly questioned one. Segment 3. Gigglesmoke guarantee and 2, 5, maybe 10.
Tommy 2 cents.
Could be a quarter or a couple of quarters with Tommy. Tommy 2 cents. He's got a pretty good list tonight.
Allow me.
So I'm gonna give him the floor while I figure out where I'm gonna pick my Gigglesmoke guarantee, which is now 11-3, by the way, after the Celtics ransacked the Lakers on Christmas Day. Thank you, Boston Celtics, for doing that. I can't stand that yelling. Talk about making a man's Christmas. That was beautiful. Anyway, 2 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents. Tommy, take it away.
A few cents.
A few cents. A couple of nickels, maybe a couple of dimes.
So we start in the world of Alabama football. Not really because I care about Alabama football, but because I didn't really like the whole Bill O'Brien signing for the New England Patriots. Coming off of Patricia and Judge, I really didn't like it. And now Jalen Milroe, I think that's his name, Alabama quarterback, in his presser prior to the college football playoff, talked about how Bill O'Brien told me he shouldn't be a quarterback. Apparently he should be, Bill. Maybe you shouldn't be an offensive coordinator. Maybe that's the real thing. But moving on, don't want to spend too much time there. Next topic I wanted to talk about, I think you'll like this topic. Okay, so after the Jets got slapped around by Joey Flacco and the Cleveland Browns.
Joey Bag of Donuts.
A reporter, I think it was Rich Cimini, talking to Robert Saleh, he was like, so, it doesn't seem like you're really showing maybe what you're feeling on the inside. You don't seem mad. So could you
he said this to
the coach in
Saleh.
the press conference, yeah. He says, it doesn't really seem like you're showing like any kind of anger right now. Could you give us some insight into like...
He asked him this question?
Yes.
They won the game, right?
No, they lost to the Browns.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Jets lost to the Browns. This was last night.
It's last night. Okay.
So Cimini, whatever his name is, I think he's a Guinea, like us. Rich Cimini. He says, could you give us some insight into what you're feeling on the inside? And Saleh goes, what do you want me to do? Throw the podium up in the air? Slam the podium on the ground? Something like that. And
all would have been valid.
And Cimini goes, whatever you want to do. And then Saleh basically just walks off. Wow. And I listen to New York sports every morning, The Fan. I listen to Gio and Boomer Esiason. But they had the backups in today, Recco and I think Lepresti. But they were talking about how, it seems like Robert Saleh doesn't have a pulse on the sideline. And, it would have been nice to see him be angry in the post game. But I bring this up because I don't think it matters how your coach acts, for that matter, how your quarterback acts. If you're losing, you're going to dislike the people who are losing. That's just us as human beings. Because I will say this. I've been so tired of Brian Daboll's whole anger on the sideline act. And I've been telling you this from the start of the season.
This is true. Yeah.
So the idea that you don't like Robert Saleh because he doesn't show enough emotion on the sideline, it's complete horseshit. They're losing.
Yeah.
So whatever he was doing on the sideline is not working. You're going to dislike what he's doing on the sideline. So him coming to the press conference and being calm and answering questions, people are going to go, does this guy even care? But then, like me, Giants are losing. Daboll's yelling at everybody on the sideline. He's coming into the fucking press conference angry, almost like daring people to ask him a question, and I can't stand it. It's unprofessional to me. When they lost to the Eagles last week, on Christmas Eve, I think it was, and they had those real bad, there was some bad refereeing. in that game.
There was.
And Daboll comes into the press conference like a fucking rabid dog. That's how hostile he was.
Yeah.
Like, walked into the room basically like staring at reporters like this. Like, walked up to the podium like he was ready to punch somebody in the face. Kind of like, I dare you to ask me a fucking question.
Do it.
I fucking dare you.
Triple dog dare you.
Like, dude, like, what are you doing right now? You know, so my point is, when somebody's losing, it doesn't matter how they're acting. You're not going to like it.
No.
Because it's obviously not working. So I think it's kind of like it's just something to complain about Robert Saleh.
I mean, the other thing is there's the way you lose. Because that's going to affect how you... It's one thing, and again, in the case of the Jets, where they're playing a better team, okay, and Cleveland is, I'm telling you, Cleveland's for real.
Yeah.
There's no shame in losing that game on the road. There really isn't. You don't have a quarterback, and you don't have an offensive line. What is Robert Saleh really supposed to do? He doesn't pick the players. So if you want to get mad at somebody, he has to coach the hand that's dealt to him.
Yeah.
So I don't. Again, if you don't have the talent and the coach, and you're losing to a playoff team on the road, a better team than you, I don't get mad at Robert Saleh for that because he's overmatched. He doesn't have the talent to compete with that team.
And if you're Robert Saleh, are you really going to fucking pitch a fit?
Yeah, I mean, I would be like, look, my guys fought hard. They did what they could. Yeah. The better team won. And I'd leave it at that. Like, what do you want me to do? Throw a fit? I'm like, because honestly, the truth is this. Our offensive line is in shambles. We don't have a quarterback. Okay? We're not going to compete or beat a team like that on the road our defense can keep us in it. They're really good. But we don't have the horses offensively enough really to beat a team like that right now. That's just the truth. I'm not going to sit here because honestly, and again, I would love if Robert Saleh or any coach for that matter said that because they're not lying.
Yeah.
So when
they can't say that.
No, this is the problem. Yes, I'll tell you why they can't say that because right now we're not good enough.
Right.
And when people look at the tape, they already know the answer. So don't get pissed to your point like, well, the coach can't say that. Actually, if I'm the coach, I will fucking say it. We aren't good enough right now.
But I mean, like, to say that publicly can sometimes backfire because
the season's over. How's it going to backfire now?
No, I mean like professionally, because the organization is paying you to try to motivate your players, and if you're going to the public and saying we're not good enough, that could come across to the team like you're not helping these people believe that they could win this game.
I don't think he told them that in the pregame. This was the post game when
right, but if you say that in the post game and then you have a game the next week,
well,
you're kind of saying that
the team you're playing against is really, really, really good. Mm-hmm. Maybe the team you're playing next week isn't as good as that team. You can beat them. I'm just saying that my point is this: saying you're not good enough is not a lie, and you're not. You lost 37-20. What the fuck is he supposed to say?
No,
my guys fought hard.
I don't mean to argue the point because I think we're both agreeing that like. No matter what the coach does at the end of the day, if you're losing, you might be annoyed by it.
I would have said, look, we fought hard. We weren't good enough tonight.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. Are you happy about it? Who the hell is happy when they lose?
Yeah.
We try to win every game we play. So, no, we're not happy, but I'm not going to – me blowing a gasket is not going to change anything. But we just have to go back to get ready for next week and try and play better.
But my point about whatever they're doing, if they're losing, is going to be annoying. Like, I even look at Eli Manning, okay? And that's why I said head coach, quarterback, doesn't matter. Eli Manning had one of those demeanors. Mm-hmm. When you were losing, oh, my God, Eli was infuriating. Because he always had this fucking look on his face.
Yeah.
Kind of like Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where the fuck I am right now. And Eli Manning, I swear to God, sometimes he throw. I remember the year they won the Super Bowl, he threw 3 pick sixes in a game to the Vikings. Bang, bang, bang. And the look on his face was kind of like, huh? But then in crunch time, when he was in an NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl, he had that same look on his face.
He made a throw. He had
while fucking dropping dimes
honestly,
in the fourth quarter.
He's in the Hall of Fame because he made 2 throws in the Super Bowl
2 drives, basically.
Well, but 2 throws in particular.
Yeah.
Which enabled them to beat the Patriots both times because he made 2 throws. One was perfect.
But it was because of that demeanor. It was because of that. Because
you don't
ho-hum. Like, he didn't give a fuck where he was.
The thing is this, and everybody's got a different face for this, but it's the mindset behind it. Eli's playing for the next play because he knows good, bad, or different. I can't do anything about what just happened. I have to just move on. And to be a great athlete, you have to have short-term memory. You just do. You have to move on, and because otherwise you will destroy yourself. You want to know why these guys get, because their confidence level.
They can forget.
They can forget it because they know, I'm get them on the next one. Fuck you. I don't care if I'm 0 for 11. I'm going to make the one that wins
3 picks last game.
Doesn't
give a shit.
Doesn't give a shit. But that's how you do that job.
I know.
That's part of what enables them to do that job.
Insanity.
And again, the normal person doesn't get it,
right?
Because the normal person can't do that shit.
We watch him throw the 3 picks and go, "This motherfucker stinks."
And if that was you throwing those picks, you'd fucking melt.
Exactly.
You'd melt. Yeah, exactly. You would mentally melt and go, "I can't go back out there."
Yeah, you wouldn't come back from it.
You wouldn't come back from it. But to have that kind of confidence, that's why he's a Hall of Famer. So my point is this: with Salah, okay. Honestly, I would have just said, look, we fought hard. We weren't good enough tonight.
Well, he was just like, what do you want me to do, flip the podium on the floor?
I wouldn't even have said that. I'd have been like, we fought hard. They were the better team.
I think it was kind of a dick question.
I mean, it was a dick question. But here's how you answer it. We fought hard. We weren't good enough. Hey, sometimes it's not what you did. It's what the other team did, and you have to tip your cap to your opponent. Yeah. We fought hard. They were better tonight. Sometimes they're better than you are. Sometimes you can play your best, and that team played a little bit better.
But I mean, so what do you think to the whole fan wanting, like, so often the fan wants the athlete or the coach to act frustrated.
Well, to show it to they care, or you think they don't care.
Then when the athlete or the coach shows it, you go, shut the fuck up.
Well, it depends on how often you see it. Because it can get tired if you see it once in a while.
Because like Dable all year on the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, that can get tired.
It's tired.
Now, in Dable's defense, they were a playoff team last year.
He is probably frustrated.
He's probably frustrated. And again, how he did what he did last year with the talent they had was a miracle. Okay? It was a fucking miracle.
Their schedule was also easier.
But the Patriots had the toughest schedule in the league, and it shows.
Everybody in the East.
Yeah. So they played each other. Those 2 divisions beat the shit out of each other, which we said they were going to do. They did exactly what we said they were going to do.
For them.
Those 2 divisions were going to beat the crap, and they did. They did exactly what he and I both sat here in September and told you they were going to do. So, and everybody knew it. Okay, so but the thing is this: when you look at the teams that are successful, top to bottom, both sides of the ball in all 3 phases, they're good.
Yeah,
they're good. And then there's the difference. But look at the difference between good and great is so slim.
Razor thin.
It's razor thin in that league. It is parity. There's a lot of parity in that league.
Sometimes it's like one player.
And in the one and done scenario where, listen, and Belichick was right about this, there are probably 5-6 plays in the game that determine the outcome of the game, and you don't know when they're going to happen. You have to play for the next play. Eli Manning had the ability to do that. That's why he's a 2-time world champion. A lot of guys don't. They just don't. So with Salah, where his team doesn't have the line and the quarterback right now to beat a team like Cleveland on the road, I might add, I would just say to Rich Caminiti, like, Rich
Cimini,
whatever his fucking name is, like Rich
Caminiti.
Rich, I could sit there and break everything on the sideline. It wouldn't change the fact that they were a better team than we were tonight. Okay, our guys fought, our guys competed, they tried, nobody quit. They were the better team tonight. Sometimes you just tip your cap to them and leave it at that. Because it's always, and you hear this all the time, and we talk about it all the time. It's always about what this team didn't do. Well, here's the thing about that, because it's a two-way street. Sometimes that other team was the reason you did what you did or didn't do. They imposed their will on you because they were better.
You said most games are lost rather than won. This was a game that was won.
No, Cleveland was the better team, and nobody picked the Jets to win this game. So why Rich Caminiti or Cimini, whatever his fucking name is?
Did you see that?
No.
That was fucking.
But we're gonna see it. Oh Lord!
I mean, he went chest to chest and just
that was
yoked on this. Caleb Love he transferred from somewhere?
Arizona.
Was he at Duke?
Number 4 Arizona goes into California, wins by 20. Yeah, Arizona's for real, America. We'll get into them at a later date. Anyway, any more sense, Thomas?
The only other sense was something that you told me to bring up because I was talking about it off air. Was the college football playoff being on New Year's Day rather than New Year's Eve.
This is one
simply because, and I know why.
And it's funny. I didn't think about it, but when you said it, it made sense.
Well, so last year on New Year's Eve, we all got together in our neighborhood because we typically do on New Year's Eve to celebrate the ball dropping.
Yeah, it's fun.
And
it's a fun night.
So we get together around the first college football playoff game, maybe like first, second quarter of that game, and we get to watch that whole game, which is usually something good.
Yeah.
And last
and
year,
that was TCU upsetting Michigan.
Right.
That was crazy.
Okay, so we saw TCU upset Michigan.
Yeah.
Then we got to see Ohio State, Georgia,
which was a dawn.
Where in our time zone,
Oh.
Ohio State was lining up to kick a game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
At the same time as the ball was dropping.
Oh, this was
and
tough. This was
It
tough.
was the final 60 seconds. They're counting it down, and they're setting up the field goal.
And the wives are looking at you, and you're like, but...
We got the ball drop over here. We got Ohio State in the kitchen.
This was a sports fan's nightmare.
Ohio
State,
so
great.
Ohio State misses the field goal as the ball drops. Okay, so this year, however, because New Year's Eve falls on a Sunday, the NFL gets that day.
Yeah.
In a bunch of games that, like, really, who gives a it's about seeding at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
No.
I would rather college football have said, you know what, fuck you, NFL.
Well, they can't. The NFL's bigger.
Well, yeah, exactly. The NFL's bigger.
The NFL rules.
The networks really run the shit, too.
Yeah, I mean...
The networks don't want to waste
that. Now, to your point, I will say this. If they had the 12-team playoff, though, they might have had a case. Because honestly...
But the 12-team playoff would be set up differently.
I know, but you know how good this would have been if this was this year? I mean, look, next year we can't wait. This is going to be great.
Well, imagine the first weekend.
Yeah, you imagine the matchups.
It'll be like wild card weekend.
Dude, I can't believe these idiots that are all about money didn't figure this out sooner. This should have been figured out 20 years ago.
This 25 bowl games sucks.
No one cares about 20. God. Listen, honestly, of the 25, 20 of them don't mean dick.
They stink.
There's 5 that are actually good. The other 20 are just garbage. Okay, you finished over 500 in the power conference. You get to play. Which, look at, I'm not saying those teams aren't.
Iowa State.
The reality of it is, of these 25 bowls, you're talking about, there's 325 Division I programs. 50 teams play a postseason game. So, if we're being honest...
It is good.
It is good because the top 50 teams are all going to beat each other.
If you're one of the kids in the game,
you've got to be better if it was a playoff.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine? This is why March Madness makes the most money every year.
Look at this kid in Memphis throwing dimes.
And they could have been in the damn playoff if there was 12 teams. It was like, I mean, I can't wait till next year. But
so I bring that up to just say I'm disappointed that this year on New Year's Eve, sure we'll have NFL games, but like. None of them are playoff games.
All they had to do was play them all at 4:25, and then you could have had.
Or they could have played them all on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple ways they could have done it.
Because the NFL games on
Saturday. They could have had a Monday night game, New Year's Day, Monday night football.
They've got one game on Saturday.
Yeah, there's no Monday game.
Right.
Yeah.
They could have done 3 on New Year's Day the same way they did 3 on Christmas.
I mean, they're doing it that way. They cleared the slate on Monday so that college football could have the day.
I know, but we all got to go to work on Tuesday.
Well, I work from home.
Me too. No, I gotta go in.
You're into it? Oh, that's that. There you go. That sucks. No, but to his point, you want to be able to enjoy that, and then wake up tomorrow and talk about it.
Dude, but being at a party watching those games is good. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not our teams.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
like
Sunday night we'll have fun Sunday night. But I mean, look at the Green Bay Minnesota game is a playoff game. That'll be fun to watch.
Is that the 8 o'clock game?
That's the 8 o'clock game. It's an elimination game. They're both one. Somebody's going to get knocked out.
Did we both pick Green Bay, or did you pick Minnesota?
We both picked Green Bay. We did. Yeah. We did. But look, he's right that they could have done a better job in terms of scheduling on this. They could have moved the Sunday night game to Monday night, and just said, "Look, they got the slot. Play one
2 Monday night games again.
Play one at 6 and one at 10 and 9." Because everybody has Monday.
They could probably
have
gotten
done
good ratings New Year's Day with a lunchtime game.
Yeah. Game. Yeah, no, I agree. They could have. I mean, they're going to have the day on Monday, and everybody's going to be all psyched. And but I think that to his point about not having to go to work, having the extra day off. Yeah, I get it. I do.
So let me ask you this: do you have your guarantee yet? Because otherwise,
I do.
Okay,
I do.
Do your guarantee. Then we're going to do a recap of our favorite moments.
I'm actually going to pick both playoff games. I'm going to do 2 of them. And the thing about this is these teams are pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, this is a good lineup.
Michigan has all the talent to beat Alabama, but Alabama's in their head. And if you doubt that, just go back to when they selected
the announcement
them and look at the Michigan locker room when they realized who they were getting.
They didn't make a
They were not happy with this. They did not want to see Alabama. No. And that doesn't mean they can't.
They wanted Florida State.
That doesn't mean they can't beat them. But Florida State didn't have their quarterback.
They wanted Florida State.
They wanted Florida State because they thought it was going to be an easier game. Now, I got news for you. Florida State's defense is better than Alabama's.
Yeah.
It is. It is clearly better. I don't know. See, again, this is one of those be careful what you wish for deals, but the fact that Alabama saw this tape and knows they're in their head, Alabama's going to win that game.
I like you.
They're in their
That's
head.
how you always pick games.
They're in their head.
I like it.
Because it's true.
I like it.
Everybody saw this.
I remember
Alabama saw it too and go, wow, they don't want to see us at all. The worst thing you can do is give a team like Alabama confidence. Okay? And that tape told everybody what they needed to know. The second game, this game to me might be the best game of the whole season. Texas-Washington. Oh my God. This is going to be fun.
Oh, man. I really hope Washington wins.
I have said for probably half a season now.
Where's the shotty?
That if I had my druthers and the Patriots did decide to go with a quarterback, Penix would be my number 1 choice.
Hard not to love that guy.
He is everything from and if you don't just look at his story.
Yeah.
Look at what this kid's overcome. He is everything you want in a leader. Okay? He's 6'3", he's left-handed, he's accurate, and he and I personally saw him playing probably 5 big games this year.
Every time we turned a Washington game on, he was making big
Every
throws.
time they had to have a throw, this guy made it.
Yeah, he's good.
It didn't matter the conditions of the weather. It didn't matter the defense.
Why did it always seem like he was playing in a rainstorm?
Every time it was never sunny in 75. It was fucking, the rain's going this way, there's snow, there's fucking. He literally, and again, I want people to hear this. The Pac-12 was the best conference in America this year. And if you doubt that, go look at Georgia's out-of-conference schedule, Alabama's, LSU. You go look at what the SEC did out-of-conference. The ACC had a better out-of-conference record than the SEC this year. And the Pac-10 the Pac-10 has had 7 different teams ranked this year.
Yeah.
And USC, that quarterback who won the Heisman, they finished 7th.
Dude,
that's how good
Colorado, who actually was pretty good.
They were in that conference.
They were in that conference
at the wrong
by
time.
some of the top.
I would tell you that if Colorado was in any other conference outside of the SEC, they're probably over 500.
Yeah, I agree. They'd be in a bowl.
They'd probably be in a bowl game.
Yeah.
So to me, and look, Texas is no fucking joke. You don't go into Alabama and beat Alabama on their field convincingly. Okay, and they did. Now that was early in the season, but to me, I think Washington is ready for this. And the game, Washington, I don't know where the game's being played, but Washington supposedly is the home team. Washington has been in knuckle drag, street Donnybrooks all season long. This is not going to phase them.
Knuckle drag, street
brawl, all.
Did you just watch me burn my tag off on camera?
No, I didn't, but I'm sure America did.
That could have ended poorly.
I'm going to go with Washington in this game. It's going to be close.
Yes.
But I think Penix is going to. Now he's doing that because I'm 11-3, so fucking why not?
No, because I love Penix.
Yeah, I love this kid. By the way, he's got a receiving core. These receivers are not talked about enough. He's got weapons.
Who's his main one?
I forget, but that dude may get drafted in the first round. I think he will. He's good. Maybe the Patriots will do that. We'll see. But whatever. The bottom line is they've got weapons. They've got experience. They've been in big game after big game after big game. And I think this is the Pac-12's chance to show America they're for real.
They're the only Pac-12 team in it, right?
Yeah, and by the way, Oregon, whose 2 losses are to this team by a total of like 11 points, could boat race a few teams.
What is Texas's offense like?
They're good.
They're good?
They're good. This is going to be hell of a game.
Are they passing or running team?
They're balanced. They can do both.
And Archie Manning's grandson is like what, the backup?
Yeah. Look, Texas is no joke, and I wouldn't be. I think it's a 1-score game, and I think Penix makes a play at the end because that's what he's done in every big game this season.
Do that.
And I don't know that if Texas and Oregon met on a neutral site, if Texas can beat Oregon. I think Oregon could beat them in a shootout. I think they could.
Like
Oregon's got an offense like you read about. The one team that could match them was Washington. So I'm going with Washington. Because I'm looking at these opponents. And I'll tell you right now, this is the problem with the SEC. And look, I love Nick Saban. I'll always love Nick Saban. But the SEC shouldn't be in this tournament. They got her own reputation. They're going to win because they're in Michigan's head. And the whole world knows it. That's the worst part about it.
Are you holding your pick for the next round till after?
When they win, or whoever wins, then I'll make the next pick. I could be wrong, because honestly, listen, Michigan's capable from a talent perspective of beating Alabama. They're not going to get out.
Well, you kind of feel like
they're not
from
going
a talent perspective, they're better. But
they are a little better. They've already set themselves up. They already have. Alabama knows they're in their head because the whole country knows it. If the whole country knows it, Alabama knows it. Okay, because everybody saw that fucking.
Okay, so
replay.
what would you have done? Let's say you're the Michigan coach. Is there a way you say I don't want cameras in here, because that's kind of like a lose-lose?
No. What I do is when the cameras shut off, I put the tape in of the Texas game, and then I follow it with the tape of the Auburn game, and I go, look, these guys are beatable. Don't think for a second they're not. They honestly, if Auburn didn't fuck up, Alabama's not even here. Right. Let's talk about the fourth and 31.
Yeah.
Like, you know what the odds of that happening are? Okay.
Well, that is a good point to bring up that.
And before you get into Georgia, Georgia lost a ton of guys to the NFL. This is not the Georgia team that won the national title. Their out-of-conference schedule was a joke. The SEC got by on their reputation. They were not the best conference in America this year, and frankly, they shouldn't have had anybody in it.
But with that said,
they got rewarded because a certain quarterback broke his leg.
With that
which is
said,
a joke.
Though, it would have been nice to like have Georgia trying for a three-peat in
Georgia had a home game against Alabama. And blew it. Alabama had a home game against Texas.
How nice would it be for that to be part of the storyline? Georgia going for a three-peat.
The storyline should have been David versus Goliath. They took David out of it because they were afraid that David couldn't measure up. Look, if Florida State beats Georgia tomorrow, I'm not going to be surprised. Because Florida State's defense is that good.
Then, if Georgia gets beat by Florida State, dear God.
They're missing. I can introduce you. Florida State. Here's the thing. Florida State's missing key players. There are guys that are not playing. Yeah. If Georgia loses that fucking game,
that'd be bad.
And I saw Georgia's. See, nobody looked at Georgia's out of conference schedule.
But do they have anybody sitting?
Is
Georgia sitting people?
I don't know.
These games are so irrelevant.
They're mad. These players. If I'm the Florida State players, I wouldn't play either. Fuck you. You screwed me after doing it. Like we respond to adversity and overcome it, and you penalize us for it because according to the eye test. Yeah. The eye test. Look if I had the eye test said Tom Brady was a 6th round draft pick, and he shouldn't even got drafted. And I remember listening to Mariucci, my former 49ers coach, talking about Tom Brady at the combine. It was like, this guy.
Did he shit on him?
Yeah, he shit on him big time. He goes, this guy is slow, lanky, there was nothing about him. He had a decent arm, but Like, that was Mariucci, who's been around Joe Montana and Steve Young, and just look at Tom Brady like,
Yeah, but what did Mariucci do as a head coach?
He went to the playoffs, but he didn't win a Super Bowl. Of course, he never had an A grade quarterback either. But
it was his best quarterback, Jeff
Garcia.
I mean, he had T.O.
Yeah, but if you don't have the quarterback, you have the quarterback.
Who were his two quarterbacks out there?
Garcia was his best one. I don't know.
But that was towards the. Was that?
And Garcia was decent. He wasn't bad.
He was a good quarterback.
Yeah, but he wasn't Steve Young or Joe Montana. No. Those guys won league MVPs. Yeah. He wasn't that dude. No. But the thing is, he looked at Tom Brady like everybody else looked at Tom Brady and went, One guy, Dick Rabine, went into Belichick's office and said, you got to fucking draft this kid.
That's interesting.
And we had just signed Drew Bledsoe at $100 million. He was coming off his fourth Pro Bowl. And he had been to a Super Bowl. So we had the dude, and he's going, you need to draft this kid. And Belichick in the 6th round took a flyer on him.
That's impressive.
That's Dick Rabine. Dick Rabine is the one guy who saw Tom Brady for what he was. Anyway, so
all right. So now that
that's the Gigglesmoke guarantee. So we're going to have Alabama is going to beat Michigan. Washington, these are both going to be Donnybrook games, but these are going to be great games. Yeah. Washington is going to outlast Texas. Penix is going to make a play at the end. Okay.
All right, now,
best and worst.
Yes, that's right.
Best and worst.
So, before we get into favorite sports moment of the year, how about favorite IDD episode of the year?
Wow.
I've got 2.
You can't have 2. You got to have 1. Well, you tell me who the 2.
I'll explain.
Okay, explain.
So, the first one is obviously Shardface. It's Shardface.
For those of you that didn't see
For
this.
those of you who didn't see it. So, I don't know how it came up, but I brought up when Russell Wilson, instead of in the Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl, when the Seahawks drove down, they got that lucky ass catch to bring them down to like the 4 or 5
That catch was as bad as the helmet one. Might have been worse.
No, it was worse.
Might have been worse because the ball bounced
The
up in the
helmet
air.
one was some skill.
And Harmon ran over. He could have picked it up and he ran by it.
Yeah. That was a fucking
Yeah,
stroke of
Duron Harmon.
divine
Talk about
intervention.
what you know what the goat horns would have been on him if he doesn't make that play. Oh my God.
So
Anyway.
Seahawks, about to score the game-winning touchdown, basically. Instead of handing the ball to Marshawn Lynch, they throw a fucking slant from the 2-yard line.
Throw a quick slant against the
Malcolm
goal
Butler
line defense.
intercepts it. Okay.
Yep. One of the greatest pickoff in playoff history.
So there's a few different replays. One is Tom Brady on the sideline
Jumping up and
watching
down.
the jumbotron, going, "Yes." The other is Richard Sherman making a face like he's just seen a child get mauled by a bear.
That's not how I described it.
RJ described it as a shark face.
A little bit different. No. He, the friend who knew you shot it yourself, and he was looking at you like.
Do it. Richard Sherman saw on the jumbotron the interception.
Yeah, and it looked like his best friend shit himself, and Richard knew it. Anyway.
And I couldn't stop.
You did that in public?
Man, when you said that, we were recording.
He had to leave the set.
I left like 3 times. I couldn't stop.
He was crying. The man had tears coming out of his eyes.
So that would probably be my favorite episode. But then I also think about the 2 Cents with Tommy episode when I was talking about the work bathroom.
Yes.
Because that was also a really good segment.
That was good.
When I couldn't stop laughing.
That was good. That was good.
And I was talking about the janitor coming in.
Yeah.
And, you look at them when you walk by them.
Yeah.
And you said... You said if it was you, as you were coming out, you look at him and go, "I'm gonna make you earn your money today. I'm gonna make you earn. You're gonna earn that check today." Oh man, that was funny.
That was terrible. That was terrible.
So I don't know. Do you have any other show memories from this year that
I've got
stand out?
I've got a ton. Most of mine though are in the fountain of misery. Which is probably when I do my best work, when I'm pissed off because my team underachieved.
Oh, so some of your rants?
My rants. I mean,
which one sticks out? Which is your best rant?
The one. Look, I can't argue with numbers. I'm a numbers guy. So when I look at that Sunday when the Patriots lost in Germany. And we came on. I texted him going, "We have to do a show right now. I'm about to."
Oh, that's right. We got on right after
the game, and I was like,
"Were we drunk by like 1?"
We were,
because you started drinking during
the game. And Mac throws that awful pick. He gets benched for Bailey Zappi. Basically, Belichick just flipping everybody off, going, "I'm going to make my point," and basically eliminates the Patriots from everything and
ruins a guy's career
and destroys Mac Jones. Just destroys him. And doesn't think twice about it.
You said that was the end of Mac Jones.
That was the end of Mac Jones in New England.
But didn't you also say you couldn't, like, that was the end of his career?
No. I said he has to go somewhere else. See, the thing about it, and I don't know what Mac Jones is. Mm-hmm. I know that he had a very promising rookie year. A lot of people saw it. They made the playoffs, for Christ's sake. And in a game where they got blasted in Buffalo, he actually looked real. He was the one player that looked like he showed up. Yeah. And everybody forgets this crap. I have people talking about how when he went down with the injury, he was crying on the way out, and that's why they hate him. Or I'm like, this is stupid, nonsensical bullshit. When he got hurt. And by the way, what none of you dickheads talk about is how that was a 4 to 6 week injury, and Mac Jones came back in 3.
When was that?
Because he's such a pussy. It was early in the season with
This
Patricia.
year?
No, last year. And he goes down. He gets carried off the field. He doesn't know if his season's over or not because he doesn't know what he did. He's crying. His tears in his eyes. And everybody's from Sean Darcy. And everybody's going, "Yeah, look at his butt." Yeah.
Well, I mean, Northeast. That's always going to happen.
The problem with that bullshit is that it was a 4 to 6 week recovery time, and Mac Jones was back in 3 because he's such a pussy. I got news for you.
He's such a ball sack.
Anyone that plays in the NFL is not a pussy.
Ball sack.
Ball sack, whatever. Sack.
Where do you determine that a pussy is actually stronger than a ball sack?
Well, according to Betty White, it is.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if we're going to describe somebody as weak or sensitive,
I mean, the thing is that Mac Jones has been. I mean, and I keep coming back to the whole. Well, why is the guy in Chicago getting a pass? He never made a Pro Bowl. He never went to a playoff, but he's getting a pass like you read about.
He hasn't played a full season.
He hasn't even played a full. And Mac Jones, who did these things, is getting destroyed like it's all his fault. And there are still people out there that think Bailey Zappi is the future. You need your fucking head examined. Okay?
Neither one of them is going to succeed.
No, Mac Jones will go somewhere else and succeed because they'll build around him.
Yeah.
He will. If someone gives him a chance and gives him just give him an average offensive line. And give him a legit number one and tell me what he does. And as I keep telling people, when he had a Rolls Royce, he didn't crash it. He won a fucking national title in the SEC.
And then won a playoff game.
Yeah, and they're like, and I keep hearing, and by the way, that night, Christmas night, when my cousin's kids are going, oh yeah, he had this guy and that guy. I'm like, well, guess who has this guy and that guy now? Tua has this guy, and Jalen Hurts has that guy, and look at what they're doing, Okay, you're so fucking stupid when you say shit like that. So my thing is this: that rant that Sunday, where Belichick needed to be fired then on the spot, is coming to fruition. Because now all he's doing is this to Robert Kraft. And if they beat the Jets, which I believe they will, they've already lost the second pick. He's going to drop them down somewhere from 6 to 10. And you're not going to be in a position to get the quarterback. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be gone too if he comes out. You're going to be in no man's land because you didn't fire this fucker after that bullshit. And you should have fucking fired him and tanked the season then, because at that point, you weren't playing for anything.
Yeah.
And I understand the whole, well, you can't tell don't tell him. Just fire the fucking coach. Fire the fucking coach. You put Gerard Mayo as an intern. You tell Bill O'Brien, do whatever the fuck you want, and you see what you have. Because here's the thing. They're not going to try and fuck up your draft. They're going to try and develop these players because they've got the ultimate pass. The head coach got fired. And the GM. They basically wiped out the front office and go, do what you can at the end of the year. So they're playing with house money. And then at the end, you know
but what about the fact that, like, all right, so you're criticizing Belichick.
I think it's justifiable.
No, I'm not saying it's not. But then if he's able to win with this, if they fire Belichick.
It doesn't matter what he does. It didn't matter what he did after that. He destroyed your first-round draft.
I agree that he should have been fired.
He should have been fired right fucking then for what he did.
But at this point, there's no...
It doesn't matter now. It's too late.
Point, it's late, right?
I'm saying he should have been fired the day we were sitting here, okay, and I blew a gasket. He should have been fired that day.
But are you saying after that, if they had fired him, they wouldn't have won any of these games?
I don't know, and I don't care. Here's what I do know, okay?
Because you're saying the wins are enough FU to Kraft.
Yeah, he's hurting their draft pick right now.
But if
he's not getting out of here alive.
All I'm saying is, if Gerard Mayo had been inserted as the interim coach
and wins,
don't you think he would have been trying to win?
You don't tell him to tank. You say do the best you can with what you have.
But he would have won just as many as Belichick, as bad as Belichick's been.
I don't think they would have won another game
if Gerard Mayo had come in.
Not because Mayo can't coach, but because the team would have been like, fuck. Like, what do we do now? And O'Brien, who...
Do you think Belichick's credibility has kept them floating?
I think you have to... Here's the thing. I would never tell...
You know what I'm saying?
I would never tell a professional athlete to tank. I wouldn't, okay? All I'm saying is this. If you're going to... here's the other problem that Robert Kraft is going to have. Say he wins again against the Jets. Now he's going to sit there and start getting nostalgia. Well, maybe he does. You're going to drag this fucking thing out. That would be a monumental fucking mistake. And by the way, is he really going to come back as just the head coach? Because I could, here's the thing. If he could swallow his fucking ego for 5 minutes
and do that,
and just do that, I wouldn't have a problem with him coming back as just a coach because I know he can still coach. He proved that the other night. He proved it in Pittsburgh. He can still coach. But the thing is,
once
you
Judon
can't.
and Gonzalez went down, and he still kept this defense.
You cannot. Well, that's more. You're giving Mayo more credit for that than anything else.
That's good.
But the bottom line is, if he was willing to just come back as the coach, I'd be okay with that. He's not going to do that. Bill Belichick has never admitted he was wrong on anything. He wasn't wrong when he benched Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl and costing his team. Okay, he wasn't wrong. He's never been wrong. He wasn't wrong when he hired Patricia and Joe Judge. He should have fucking written Mac Jones an apology for that shit. Fucking destroyed this.
That is one of the biggest mysteries.
You can't.
Of
He pushed Tom Brady out the door, and Tom Brady won a Super Bowl, and only then, when the egg was all over his face, in the form of a dozen, I might add. Okay, then he calls him the greatest fucking influence or the most important person in the history of the Patriots dynasty because he had no fucking choice. He had no fucking choice. All right, so he should have apologized to Cam Newton for what he put him through. You fucking kidding me? Okay, so Rob Gronkowski didn't want to play for him anymore. Rob Gronkowski never put in his retirement papers. He just didn't want to play for Bill anymore. That's telling. So that was my moment, my favorite moment, because I got to say exactly how I fucking felt, and I was vindicated on it, because now all he's doing is fucking up your draft position, and he's going to win another game, at least one more. So you better pray some of the people around us lose, because otherwise you're looking at a somewhere between 6 to 10 pick, and Marvin Harrison Jr. will be gone, and the two quarterbacks, you're going to take a gamble on somebody.
Penix.
If you're going
Penix is going to drop.
If you're going that way, I don't think I would still say Mac Jones with a line and a number one receiver.
So you're saying no need to pick a QB?
I don't think it's the offensive line is the priority. Here's the thing.
I know, but it's just because he's a first round pick.
We don't have a number one receiver. You do. We don't have a tight end. You do. Oh, by the way, Hunter Henry, by the way, for you people that are talking about Hunter Henry's never fucking... The Chargers just let him walk, didn't even care. Is he decent? Yeah. Is he a Pro Bowler?
Decent.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
He looks better than he is because
I like him.
I like him too, but he's not a guy I'm going to break the bank to keep.
No.
He's not that dude. He's not a Pro Bowl tight end.
I feel like you can find serviceable.
You can find serviceable, but he's not. They don't have a lot under contract on offense. The defense is set.
Yeah.
You got to spend, and here's the other problem. You got to spend that $100 million on offense. Like you read about. All that money is going on
And you
offense.
Can't let Bill do that as the GM.
No fucking
That would
way.
be the biggest mistake.
He has to be gone.
If you allow him to spend more money, you're just asking for
You're going to
it.
set yourself back another 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And by the way, here's the other thing. That Patriots season ticket holder fan base, I have it on good intel that already 1/3 of them have not. Already 1/3. This season's not even over yet. Already 1/3 of them have not renewed their tickets.
If he gets fired, they will.
It's 1/3 right now.
If he gets
There's still
fired,
2 games
will
to
they?
go. It couldn't hurt because they don't want to see this guy anymore. We'll call you when the statue's built, and he's earned the statue. He deserves the statue. He's a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he wasn't important. Of course he was important. But his time has passed. It's not about the game itself. It's the message. He doesn't relate to these players. Gerard Mayo does.
Yeah.
He does that. His message is not getting to these players.
Yeah.
And even Teddy Bruschi, who will never say anything bad about him, is kind of admitting that. I don't know if the message is still getting there. Which is saying the message is
that's
not.
a big deal.
The message
If
is not
Bruschi's
getting
saying
there.
that.
Bruschi saying that. I don't know if the message is getting there. He didn't forget how to coach.
Right.
X and O's game. He still can do all that. I get it, and I agree with that.
He still knows the game.
He still knows the game, and the game has not passed him by from that thing. It's about the players and the disconnect. He doesn't have the Tom Brady in the locker room to spread that message. And since he never liked Mac Jones, apparently, he didn't use him.
Right.
And I don't want to hear about Bailey Zappi, who will be selling real estate this time next year. Here's the
this
problem.
fucking guy crying about Jim
This
Harbaugh.
fucking guy. This is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Alabama's looking at that,
I'm
going,
sorry.
licking their chops.
All right, so we just saw a highlight of when Michigan won their first game when Harbaugh wasn't allowed to be on the sidelines. Who did they beat? Was it Ohio State?
It was Penn State.
Penn State.
They boat raced. Pummel was the word, right? Pummel.
And the interim coach was crying, saying this one's for Jim.
They didn't throw a pass in the second half.
Guys, he's not there because y'all cheated.
Yeah.
So let's not cry like
Yeah.
he survived cancer or something.
Yeah. Seriously.
That was funny.
But their face when they saw Alabama on the draw was telling.
They were scared.
You asked me a question. What would I do if I'm the Michigan coach and the whole world saw that? And I said,
well, would you have tried to avoid it? Like,
No.
would you have foreseen it?
no. And by the way, I'd take that tape, and right before the game, I'd put it up on the board and go, just watch this for a minute. And when they see it, they're seeing their reaction to it. Then I hit the stop button and go, so should we bother? Because apparently they're going to boat race us because you guys are pissing down your leg and you're afraid of them. At least that's what the country thinks. And if I had seen that and didn't know you, I'd probably think that too. But that's what the world thinks of you right now.
That's risky.
And I dropped, no, it's not.
That's risky.
No, it's not. Because either you're right or you're right. Get it?
Yeah.
You asked me once about the art of trash talking.
See,
Either
but
you're right.
always hedging your bet.
You're either you're right or you're right.
Well, because you're doing it to motivate them. But if it takes them in the reverse direction, you go, well,
Then you were right. You were afraid of it. So, and by the way, if they go out and get boat race, I'd be like,
yeah,
wow.
I told you were going to get boat race, you bitch.
No. I'm not saying what I think. I'm saying this is what the world thinks.
Right.
What do you think right now? Because honestly, that is the impression you gave the world. Is that who you are?
Right.
By the way, you're going to go answer that question over the next 60 minutes. Now, I know you, and I don't believe that's who you are, but that's what the world is seeing right now. And by the way, that's
60 minutes for the rest of your life.
60 minutes for the next 60 minutes.
60 minutes for the next 60
No,
minutes.
this ain't going to destroy you, but I'll tell you this right now. This is one of those legacy moments.
The defining moment.
Where one day they're going to either do one of two things. You're going to put that tape up, and then they're going to show Alabama boat racing you, or you're going to put that tape up, they're going to show Alabama smiling, and then you're going to boat race them. Which one is it going to be?
I just realized that I have such a round face that even if I push my neck forward, I still have a double chin. Some people can, they can angle it out. Not I, sir. Not I.
By the way, my second favorite moment.
See?
There was a second one. Oh, it was when the Celtics. For me, when I blasted that whole fucking style of play. That was to me. Yeah.
You're a miserable fuck.
Well, that's all I had to go on. I told everyone they can't beat this team playing like this, and then sure enough they didn't.
You're talking about in the Heat?
No. Golden State.
Oh, that was not this year.
No, it was the year before. I said that year. Oh yeah, it's got to be this year.
It's gonna be this year.
Well, the Heat would qualify. Yeah. He would qualify. Actually, no. I said before the playoffs began, if they didn't sweep Atlanta, they were in trouble.
Oh yeah.
And then they went 6 games, and you came on the show and said, "You're right, they're in trouble."
Yeah, you said if they lost one of these,
if they didn't sweep Atlanta, they were in trouble.
Two?
They went 6. No fucking way that series should have gone 6. I said, if they don't sweep these guys, they're in trouble. And they went 6, and you came in and go, "You're right, they're in trouble."
It was nice seeing the Knicks win a playoff series.
The Knicks have a bona fide home run hitter in Jalen Brunson. They got to find a running mate.
RJ Barrett, man, he's been
technically he's young, by the way. He'd only be a senior.
24.
He came out at 19. You sure?
He's 24.
He's 24 right now.
Yeah.
I think it was. I don't know. He came after his freshman year. He's been around 5 years. The first time it was me, not him. There's the old switcheroo on you. He's tired again. We might have a new finalist for my favorite segment.
Oh man! He just looked at me right in the eyes and went, "He's been around 5 years." Oh man, I'm such a child. Oh god, here comes the fucking shit stench.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it smells like fucking roses.
Everybody loves their own brand.
RJ Barrett.
How old is he?
Let's see.
Go to his bio.
Career stats. 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. This is 5th year.
This is his 5th year. Wow,
Yeah.
he's 24. I think he was around that long. Yeah. Well, yeah, Zion, he came out. Yeah, okay, that actually makes sense.
What was he, 3?
Zion they were on the
Morant,
same team.
Zion, then
Cam
him?
Reddish was the other one that came out. They were all
was
the same.
Morant the same one? Was it Zion, Morant, and then RJ?
I don't remember. I think so. I think you're right. They were in, I think so. Yeah, man. That's our
Is that our show?
year in review.
We didn't do our most disappointing moments.
Oh, we
did
didn't.
our favorite show moments.
Well,
we didn't do
all
our
right,
favorite
all right,
sports moments.
all right.
We didn't do our most disappointing sports moments.
Favorite sports moment of the year was.
We'll be quick.
Was for what was it?
All right, so I have a couple of them.
So much for quick.
I'll be quick though. Dude,
I'll be quick. I have a couple of them.
Cack that up. All right, so on air, while we were recording. We were watching the Colorado State game. This is when we were still big on Colorado and Dion. We were talking about buying the glasses.
The Rock showed up.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
Everybody was
It was
there.
fun.
It was fun. It was a fun 3 weeks.
And they're playing Colorado State, and the Colorado State coach was such a dick in the pregame.
Oh.
Remember, he was like, my mom told me, when I talk to adults, I take my hat and my glasses off.
Not every day Tom has venom.
Oh God, I hated that guy.
Venom.
And we're watching the first half, and Colorado's getting their ass beat. And we're just like, no, you can't let this happen. They come back and win.
Yeah.
Okay, other than that, the Celtics in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, when I was over at Brian's house, you were in Boston.
I was in Myrtle Beach.
You were in Myrtle Beach, sorry.
My mom, Surfside.
Yes, it was Easter.
Yeah, it was Easter.
And Game 6, we're over there.
Celtics are down. We're down
my
0-3.
God.
They won 2. They're trying to force a game 7.
Trying to force a game
Had
7.
a big lead. Of course, they blew it because they shot
Blew
money
it.
back into it.
Blew it.
And then
There was no chance they were going to win.
Yeah.
Inbound the ball.
Marcus Smart.
Turnaround jump shot, in and out. Bounces up. Derek White, put back.
At the buzzer.
At the buzzer, they win Game 6. I called you immediately
He did.
and said, oh my God, that's the best game I've ever seen.
Yeah, he said that.
And that was a great moment.
And I get why he says that.
That was a great fucking
The
moment.
Celtics had a chance to pull off something that had never been done before.
Yeah. If they had won Game 7.
If they had won Game 7, but then Joel would have been right, and that really wasn't worth it.
Shut up. That would have been worth it.
My season be damned, Joel.
That would have been worth it.
Quest for 18.
Although I don't know that.
What's one more year?
I don't know that anybody would have beat Denver last
The
year.
Celtics would have beaten Denver.
You think so?
They were the team Denver didn't want to see. If Denver were sitting,
There's that dunk.
if Denver were sitting in a room with Michigan and they saw the Celtics win Game 7, they would have had the similar reaction that Michigan would have had, because Denver could not guard any of the Celtics perimeter players.
2019 NBA draft: Zion, Ja,
Yep.
RJ.
You called it. Yep. And all three are very, very, very talented. So anyway, but yeah, the Celtics could have beaten Denver. They boat raced them in Boston. They were there for 3 quarters in Denver. It was on the western swing, and it was the end of the trip. And Denver ran away from them in the fourth quarter, but they were right there with them for 3 quarters.
What was your best sports moment of 2023? I gave you 2 possibilities.
Last year,
This year.
well, this past year, whatever. I'm sorry, this past year. I would say the number one moment for me was TCU beating Michigan in the college football playoff. That to me,
Interesting.
well, this is what the NCAA football
Number one,
committee
huh?
doesn't
Number
understand and just figured out. This is why the March Madness tournament it makes all this money and everybody bits on it, because David can beat Goliath in a 1-game scenario.
David.
And all we keep hearing from Stephen A. Smith is because Goliath got boat raced, or David got boat raced by another Goliath that they beat one. I'm like, well, so what? Who gives a fuck? That doesn't mean you don't pick it again. And this 12-team playoff next year, you watch what's going to happen. 2 teams are going to win that no one expects to win at least. So my thing is this. I don't care. We don't get to get up tomorrow. We get up for football and drinking and more fun.
156.
This is the end of the year show. It is the end of the year show. It's our last show.
TCU beat
TCU was that. My worst moment is
Most disappointing.
is the Boston Bruins. Broke every record in the book. Patrice Bergeron, who hangs over my shoulder here, who had a chance to
retired on that.
Who retired on that. Shame on the Boston Bruins. The fan base has been very, very quiet this season. And they're off to a great start.
They're first place?
They're in first place. They're 19-7-6. They're 20-7.
Maybe this is the year.
And nobody gives a fuck.
Maybe this is the year.
No.
Until they win it.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Until they win it.
Nobody in Boston gives a fuck. Nobody in Boston is talking about it. Here's what happened last year.
Fool me once.
In my entire
Fool me
life,
once.
I never thought it took 50 years. The Boston Bruins have finally done something that even their fan base won't forgive them.
Fool me, can't get fooled again.
They fooled them for 50 years.
Fool me once.
One Stanley Cup, won in 50 years. One. Okay? In my 50 years on Earth, one.
What year?
It was 2011.
Wow. That's recent.
They went to 3 in the last 10 years. Bergeron was basically playing with half a shoulder and eaten up and busted ribs and all this crap. But he had a chance to get his second Stanley Cup and join Bobby Orr. Okay? Bobby Orr was regarded by many still as the greatest hockey player ever. And Bergeron, who won the Selke Award 6 times, NHL record, is in the top 100 all-time in scoring, and nobody even knows it's at 79. And he should have had a second Stanley Cup. They broke every record in the book. Greatest regular season in NHL history, which is over 100 years, and they blow a 3-1 lead.
Oh, man.
At home.
Yikes.
They have 2 home games to beat this team, and their goalie's it was the Maple. No, it was
Lightning.
No, it was the Panthers. Or was it? I forget what it was.
Hurricane?
No, it wasn't Hurricane. The bottom line is, I don't even remember who it was.
Devils?
You know why? Because I stopped watching because they ruined hockey for me. And the thing is, they ruined hockey for a fan base. This is the thing. The Boston Bruins hold the record for most consecutive playoff appearances in all 4 major sports. They ruined hockey for everyone in Boston. They're 20-7. I was up there for 6-7 days. Not one person mentioned the Boston Bruins. And most of the people I saw are diehard Bruins.
They're blacklisted.
They're blacklisted.
Until
they have to win the Stanley Cup.
They gotta win.
If they don't, no one gives a fuck. They destroyed Patrice Bergeron, who was injured and played through all this crap to get them there. They couldn't get him over the final. And I'll tell you right now, the Bruins fans who forgive these fuckers for every stupid thing they've ever. And by the way, that list is longer than you know.
And to not get out of the first round.
To knock out the first round when you're up 3-1, you're the 1 seed. You blow 2 games at home. And by the way, the first game they blew at home, they scored 5 goals.
Speaking of Boston, Lucas Giolito, I like this signing. I wanted the Mets to sign him. Good back end of the rotation pitcher. Red Sox picked him up. No, I'm telling you, not bad. They need starters that can go into the game.
We are not going to ruin our finish with the Red Sox talk.
Sorry. My most disappointing moment?
It's the Bruins for me. You?
I got 2. Surprise, surprise.
Tommy has
All right.
2.
So,
my second one is the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
Who pissed away a second championship in a row.
So,
pissed it away.
All right, so
pissed it away.
I'm going to say this was the most how do you call it? Like air out of the bag, deflating. The most deflating moment. Not disappointing because it's not my team, but deflating because watching it was just like, man, when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. I'm not a Jet fan, but I pull for them.
Your dad is.
So I pull for them. When that happened, I was just
understandable.
Wow. That's just like football would have been better this year if he was playing. And the Jets were good. And it would have elevated that division to an extent where like Miami would be more for real, Buffalo would be more for real, and the Jets would be in the playoff mix.
I will say this one thing, and this is coming from the biggest Patriots fan you'll ever see on camera. That fan base has probably been more snake bit than any fan base this side of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, no argument.
If it wasn't for the Detroit Lions, who have won one playoff game in 50 years, the Jets have actually in the last have been to 2 AFC Championship games. The Detroit Lions have won one playoff game in 50 fucking years. Okay, so other than them, it's the Jets. Okay,
and their fans are diehard.
And their fans are diehard. Fireman, who I make fun of every chance I get, I'll tell you right now, he's a real fan.
He was a Dolphins fan.
Was he before the Jets?
Yeah. Dude,
Is he a donkey?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not a real Jets fan.
No.
I thought he was.
No. Apparently, he was a Jet.
When that happened?
Look, I like when he does the cheer.
Are you sure?
I've been in D.C. when the Jets were there and he did the JETS. Yes, because the guys on the fan, Joe Beningo, who's like the biggest Jets fan ever, he used to have a beef with Fireman Ed because Fireman Ed was a Dolphin fan.
When?
I don't know. Prior to being a Jets fan.
Well, in the 20 years of the Brady era, he was always there. So how
but
far back are we going?
I will also say this. When I was growing up, my dad liked Dan Marino because the Jets stunk. But my dad is a Jets fan.
Well, you can like another player, but you don't root for them against your team.
No.
Like, I love Jerry Rice, but if the Niners played the Pats, I rooted for the
no
Pats.
doubt.
That's okay. That's acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that.
But no, to your point, the Jets fans have been through some shit.
They have been through a lot of shit. And if we're being fair, and every time someone thinks I can't be fair, I prove them wrong. If we're being fair, the Jets, other than Detroit, deserve a championship probably more than anybody. If we're being fair. Now, I'm not rooting for that, obviously.
Sure.
But if they were to get it, I'd probably be okay with it. Because they, after this shit from the butt fumble to Rex Ryan's bullshit and everything in between, and you play to win the game, that's bullshit.
That's one coach I don't really care for.
No, Herman Edwards is who actually, as an analyst, I like him. He's good.
I don't.
But
I can't stand him.
No,
he's a Philly guy.
He's a Philly guy.
And I see it come through.
He knows his shit. Of course he hates them, but he coached them.
He knows his shit, but he never says anything. Listen to how he breaks shit down. He never says anything.
I don't know about that.
He doesn't.
I think he's a better analyst than he was a coach. Let's put it that way. And look, they won a division title with Chad Pennington, so it wasn't like he never had any success.
I mean, obviously the guy knows fucking football better than my ass.
Their fan base, the only fan base, well, actually, there's two. To me, if you're going in the pecking order of most
Raiders,
no, hell no, never.
Best 20.
Detroit, Cleveland, and the Jets. Those three fan bases to me, and Cleveland, talk about loyal, them too. But so my thing is, any one of those three win this year or were to win in the foreseeable future, I'd be cool with it because they've been through a lot, and that's coming from a diehard. No, you know why? Because here's the thing, Buffalo,
4 Super Bowl losses.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, they had a team that should have won 2 Super Bowls.
They should have beat the Giants.
They should have beat the Giants, number one. And number two, the year that they lost to the Redskins, 37, they could have beaten that team. They weren't beating Dallas.
Did they lose to Mark Rippon? They lost to Mark Rippon.
It was Mark Rippon. They should have beat them. They were good enough to beat them. They fucked up in that game. They weren't beating Dallas.
Who else did they lose to?
They lost to the Giants. Dallas twice beat them. 30-13 and 52-17. And Dallas was the better team. That's not their fault. But they should have beaten either the Giants or the Redskins. They could have won either one of those.
Trevor Lawrence was on Clemson sidelines today.
Oh, well, he can't play. Might as well be there.
It's in Jacksonville.
It's in Jacksonville, so he didn't go far. He went to work.
Right.
Basically. And Clemson.
He was lifting weights.
Clemson came back. Oh, look at this run.
Kentucky.
This,
Holy
by the way,
fuck, that guy's fast.
Yeah.
I like the
I like the helmets. Yeah. Look cool.
We always agree on helmet looks.
Well, but see, now they're ahead now. Now Clemson comes back.
Clemson does.
Clemson turned their season around. They did. They came back in a lot of times.
Yeah.
Beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, because they had no business being where they were in the beginning of the year.
No, they're a better team in their record.
They have a lot of turnover because of the type of athletes they have.
Yeah, so they lost Etienne or Etienne, what his fucking name is. Yeah, Etienne and,
that was 2 years
Lawrence.
ago.
Yeah, well, they went together. Those two guys were all Americans. It's hard to replace.
That was like 3 years.
3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago now. Hard to recover from guys like that. Hard. You're not Nick Saban. Debo Sweeney's a good coach. He ain't Nick Saban. Nick Saban's a god. So Nick Saban go in any home in America and get a guy.
Damn, this game's close as shit.
This was one of the best games of the season. Quite honestly.
Clemson scored a touchdown late, right?
Clemson wins this game right here.
21 seconds. Holy shit, that running back.
The guy fucking smashed mouth.
Fucking Nick Chubb.
I'm going to smash you in the mouth. Anyway, that is our show for this year, America.
I'm sorry. Other most disappointing moment.
What?
The Mets.
Of course.
Highest payroll in the major leagues.
I think you knew that one was coming. History.
And having to sell off. I thought they made the right decision, but still, disappointing.
You know, if it wasn't for the Bruins, they were the most disappointing story in all sports this year. Them. the Bruins broke every record in the book. That's why they stand alone. But they were a close second because they should have at least made the fucking playoffs. The worst case scenario was they get to the playoffs and get bounced in the first round. Not what they did. No.
And they did that the year before.
They made the playoffs and got bounced.
They got bounced by the fucking Padres.
Yeah.
Another disappointment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but not Bruins level.
No.
Not the greatest regular season in the history.
Not Bruins or Mets level.
No. Mets. It was Bruins, Mets as far as team goes.
Yeah.
Right? And then Celtics to me are 3 because they should have won the title last year.
Yeah,
They fucked that up 6 ways to Sunday. So anyway, we're going to end on the disappointing note, I guess.
Yeah, look at our faces.
Terrible. We were so happy 5 minutes ago. Anyway, we will be back next Tuesday, which will be 2024.
Wow.
We will go over the college football playoff, the second to last weekend of the season. A lot of things are going to get decided this weekend in the NFL. It's going to be a very interesting week. We'll go over our picks. We will update you on the NBA. There is a rising power, perhaps, in the West that we will discuss on Tuesday. But I will tell you this: they won in Denver tonight by almost 20. In Denver. In Denver, I might add.
Oh, and look, Russell Wilson here talking about his. So we didn't even talk about that.
No, we're not going to tonight because honestly,
what's there to say?
It came down to money.
It's kind of crazy how he's got to answer questions on this now.
Yeah, he played well this season. Russell Wilson's not the reason the Broncos, who are not eliminated, I might add, not eliminated.
Dude, and he's got to sit here and defend himself.
Defend himself when he had a good year.
And he signed a contract.
Yeah, not his fault.
Why the fuck does he need to change shit?
He got in line, fetch and step with this guy this year and had a good year. I don't blame Russell Wilson for this year. I blame him for last year.
To me, this is how the players you get. The way
if he gets released, they got to pay $85 million.
You might as well keep him and pay him.
He's not the problem. Get a number one receiver.
Sean Payton can't stand him.
He hates him. This is the classic. I didn't draft this guy. I didn't trade for this guy. I don't want him. And that's bullshit because actually Russell Wilson did what he was asked of this year. And I'm not the biggest Russell Wilson guy, but he did what he was asked of him this year. He's looked good, and they're in the playoff.
There's some game-winning drives he made where you go.
Not many teams start out 1-5 and are still in the playoff race.
Yeah, that was big.
So he's still there. So
That's
I'm not,
toughness.
and it wasn't his fault the other night against the Patriots. That was the special teams. He brought them back. Special teams fucked that up, not Russell Wilson. But he's paying for it. Anyway, that's our show for this year. We will see you on January 2nd. We will review the college football playoff and the weekend NBA and football. Until then, have a happy New Year, America.
Have a holly jolly New Year.
Have a Merry New Year. Merry New Year. Until then, the redoubtable one who's off camera probably has to pee again.
I'm gonna pee my pants.
He's gonna pee his pants. Highly questionable, Migliaccio. Peace, love. See you soon.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Love and peace. Peace.